What is the most unprofessional thing a doctor has said to you? Not me, but my older sister, had unbearable GI issues for years growing up. Pediatrician told our parents that children get tummy aches and to try peppermint altoids. She ended up having emergency surgery where they had to remove her entire large intestine because it was necrotic and had tumors. Permanent colostomy by the time she was 14. That either I cheated or my husband did, because that kind of cervical pain was always chlamydia. It was an ectopic pregnancy that ruptured and resulted in emergency life-saving surgery. But thanks for listening. My personal OB happened to be at the hospital that night and came to tell me the news herself, giving him the angriest look I've ever seen in a professional setting. I took my then 4-year-old daughter to a pediatric gastroenterologist. First he said she's just being dramatic. Then he said, well, she'll get married someday and be someone else's problem. That was 25 years ago, and it still shocks me. Turned out she had a partial bowel obstruction. ETA, I just looked him up and he's still practicing in Encino, California. You're 27. I don't know what you have to be anxious about. This was in the 1990s. It can't be colon cancer, because you're too young. My brother got cancer at that exact age, as she knew. Not said to me, but said about me. I found out from my friend, who went to the same doctor, that he had told her things about my last appointment. What about patient/doctor confidentiality? I want to show this entire thread to my med students, my God. Edited to add, I think I'm going to. This is horrendous. I don't have time to talk you about /health issue /. He said this in an exasperated tone when I explained why I scheduled the appointment, and this is after entering the room 45 minutes after my appointment time. I was brought back and put in the room on time, and after he'd spent 20 minutes or so in the hallway outside the door talking football with the patient he saw just before me. I had severe cystic acne, and the conventionally attractive, young female doctor with perfect skin and a full face of makeup refused to prescribe me something, and instead told me that I shouldn't feel bad about having acne, because appearance didn't matter and personality is all that counts. Smiley face. It took me several years to find a doctor who took me seriously, got my hormonal levels tested and put me on Spiro, but that one woman was by far the worst. I went home and cried after. Edit, it's so frustrating reading all of your experiences and seeing how ridiculously common this is. I'm so sorry for what you've been through. I can relate to both the physical and mental pain so hard, and I hope you've all received the help you deserve since. You had a window, kiddo, said to me after my epidural failed catastrophically during my C-section, and they just held me down and kept going. I was at the doctor for strep throat symptoms. I had just moved, so I was seeing a new DR for the first time. He walks in, is looking at my chart, doesn't look up and tells me, you're 7 pounds overweight. You need to lose weight. I was 112 pounds. First pregnancy, my husband came to all my appointments with me. Twice, the doctor said, and, if he really is the father, just found a new doctor after that. What a turd. You have cute, soft breasts. And then proceeded to smile at me. A male doctor said this to me. I'd gone in for a checkup. Thankfully my GP took my complaint seriously and he was fired as I wasn't the first to complain about him. I got diagnosed with a borderline personality earlier this year. Doc told me there's nothing to be done and I'd probably be dead within 2 to 3 years from suicide. Now I ain't doing that because of spite. So, thanks Doc? Edit, just wanted to say y'all are absolutely fantastic folk and I appreciate the tips and helpful advice. Broke a bone in my foot. Knew that I had broken a bone in my foot. Went to the doctor and he told me that I didn't break a bone in my foot but instead was suffering from gout. I'm not even in the realm of people that experience gout and had zero other signs that it could have been gout. He was going to refuse my request for an X-ray, but I made him do it. An hour later, I'm in his office, and he holds up the X-ray and informs me that I broke a bone in my foot. Went in for what turned out to be a ruptured ovarian cyst the size of a baseball and couldn't walk without crippling pain. The first doctor I saw looked at me condescendingly, without an exam, and said ibuprofen should be enough for your womanly problems. Tried to sell me MLM weight loss bars. I had an army doctor tell me to get over having a TBI. That I was a hysterical female who read too much on the internet. Less than a month later, I was in surgery to open a 98% blocked coronary artery that also required the insertion of 2 stents. I was at the doctor's for yet another ear infection, and he asked to describe the pain, and I said I could hear my heartbeat in my ear, and it sounded like an explosion, and he grabbed my belly and said, "This is the only thing that's exploding. And this," as he continued to grab and pinch my belly. I was 9. Went to an insurance-approved on/GYN who explained my bad periods as well. That's because he've made Adam bit the apple and it's God's punishment for women. Needless to say, I went to another doctor who took the time to test me and found out I had endometriosis.